Hello everyone, this is Korosh Erfani and today is Monday, March 2026, and we are reporting the 23rd day of the war of Israel and the United States on Iran. I am pretty sure that you have heard about this mind-blowing announcement of President Trump, according to which there is something called negotiations between Iranians and Americans with regard to a kind of ceasefire or agreement, and that's why he postponed the attack on the power plants that had been set for a few hours ago. At least for 5 days, to the end of the market activity on Friday, right? But I have to say that even this promise was not really hold, because we got the news a few hours ago that they started to attack different parts of Iran with in relation to the power plants in Isfahan, in Khorramshahr. They damaged some of the gas pipelines or the gas facilities in Isfahan. So, which means that Israel really didn't give enough time to President Trump to maneuver on this, and immediately we got the answer of the Iranian, of course, because they had said that if they are attacked, they will attack the power plants everywhere, and that's why they already started, and they bombed the different parts of Kuwait for the power facilities, and right now a great part of Kuwait is in dark. So we almost knew that, because every action by President Trump is organized by Israel. There is nothing that he can do independently, and that's why nobody believes in what he says. That's why the Iranians started to say that there is no negotiation points, there is no such a thing. We don't have any talks with Americans. We didn't exchange any message or something, but the Americans are insisting that we are really in touch with some important, authority in Iran. As you can see, here is the first title of the Al Jazeera talking about Tehran calls Trump's peace talk claims fake news, right? And of course the attacks continue. So we should be very naive if we believe in this kind of manipulation by Trump and his team. We know that this war is set to continue and to get to a much higher level for the intensity than what it is right now. So that's why any kind of manipulation done by Trump must be read as something that we can say false or show off, or deception, something like that. So, but the question is why Trump is playing out like this, and why this childish behavior in the middle of something so serious, so grave. In order to understand that, we must know who is the main actor of this war. Even though a lot of medias across the world are putting forward the war between US and Iran, and they think that the United States is the main actor, we know that is just because of the domination of the Zionist media, right? They are trying to show that Iran and the United States are fighting each other, but it's not the United States. This is not an America's war. We have to say that. This is the Israeli war, right? This is the Israel's war. And the United States is just fighting for its master, Zionist Netanyahu. Now, in order to have a better idea about the framework in which this war had been started and it's going on and toward where we are going to, I think it would be better to have a kind of scheme in which we can see the agenda of the Zionists for Trump and for Trump administration, of course, and for this war, right? Because everybody can see that any attempt by the Americans in order to winding down, maybe finding a solution or getting out of this war is completely thwarted by the by Israelis, right? The Israelis are there as an impediment to any possibility of stopping war through an agreement, negotiations, or ceasefire or so on. So that's why we must be aware about the fact that for Israelis there is no really any importance that can be given to the factors that are very important for Americans, for Europeans, for Western countries, for industrialized countries, for the global economy. So we must be aware that Israel is in an apocalyptic mood, right? The Zionists are just getting awareness regarding the fact that they cannot achieve their goals, and this is not something that we can really take as a sidelined subject of the whole thing. No, that's the core of the issue. The Zionists know now that the idea of the greater Israel, the idea of creating a supremacist Jewish global governance or government is completely unrealizable. They know that it's unachievable, and that's why they want just to go through a kind of scatologic interpretation of the situation where to them nothing is important but destroying the whole thing. Why? Because the world showed that it doesn't deserve, being dominated by Jews, by Zionists, let's say, right? So if the world doesn't have this merit, why it must survive? That's the idea of the Zionists. That's the idea of those who are behind all this nasty plan in order really to destroy completely, entirely the world. They think that the whole world has been done in order to become, the realm of the global Jewish domination. So if the planet cannot be so, it means that it doesn't deserve survival, it doesn't deserve life. So that's why it must be completely obliterated, right? And what you can see right now is just the first phase of this obliteration plan. Even though we can imagine that Israelis want to live, they want to survive, they want to anyway experience some, let's say, kind of prosperity or so, but it's not true. Why? Because the minority that had taken control, taken over the power, let's say 10 years ago in Israel, they came to the power with an agenda. It was not just a transition of power. They came in order to realize the will of God, according to their beliefs, which is to establish effectively the global Jewish supremacist government. And in order to do that, they have to first conquer the whole Middle East, creating the Greater Israel, and through the Greater Israel going to conquer the other parts of the world by means of, anything, any conceivable way, any possible way. So if you want to think about any limitation, any red line for the Zionists in order to stop them, to put an halt to what they are doing, no, there is no such a thing. They are psychopaths, they are completely insane, they are inhuman, they are anti-human, and what they want to do is just to set fire to the world. So that's why the stupid people like Donald Trump are really those who were looking for decades, for what? Because they know that they can get to their goals by means of this kind of stupid individuals. And they found one, they trapped it, they created the Epstein, file, and with that leverage, they blackmailed him. They brought him to the White House, and now they are able to move forward with their agenda. We must be aware that Israelis know perfectly that President Trump, for this second term, won't have any chance to go to the end, right? President Trump cannot get through the second term presidency. They know that he is in office for a few time, and that's why they want to use it almost for every single day, every single hour, in order, to get ahead with their own agenda. Let's see one interesting timeline. As you can see here, these are the most important dates for Trump's presidency according to the Israeli agenda, starting with in January 2025, and then the most important till now is the war that had been initiated in February 2026. And the war, we are in the 23rd, 24th day right now. So the most important date just after that would be November 2026. And this is the first risk we can say for Israelis, right? Let's put it in red. This is the first alert for Israelis that before getting there, we need effectively to move forward with important portion of our agenda that must be realized by Trump, by our hostage President Trump. Okay? So, what is the importance of November 2026? That's election, midterm elections. According to all the polls, we are going to have Congress in the hands of Democrats, of course, and from that moment it's a matter of putting a lot of restriction on Trump's presidency, and most probably trying to impeach him and put an end to his presidency. All right, that would be a kind of nightmare for Israel. So in order to avoid it and prevent that, they are accelerating the momentum of war, right? And I think this is not something that President Trump is not really aware of. He knows that he has been brought to the White House just to execute the orders of the Zionists, right? But it's a kind of contractual presidency. Most probably President Trump asked them to have the possibility of just one thing, beside the show off and the circus and exhibitions of this and that, preparing the ballroom. What he wants is to be able to make money, right? And in order to do so, he is somehow tries to use almost any opportunity in order to, obtain more and more wealth, acquire money for himself, his family. Let's see just the example of what happened today. Today, as you know, stock market had already tumbled. Yesterday we reported in our video that the Asian stock market had in a very bad shape, and they had started to fall. And of course, we were waiting for the same thing here in the United States with the stock market. But suddenly something happened. Just a few minutes before President Trump made this announcement, about which nobody knew anything, some people, we don't know who, started to place a huge amount of money on oil or other assets. Why? Because they knew that with this announcement the oil price is going down, so that's why they started to place to buy long on oil, and suddenly after a few minutes they will be able to make hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars because of this insider trader information. The issue is so serious that now Financial Times is reporting that, right? In an exclusive report, it's saying traders placed 580 million in oil bets ahead of Donald Trump's special media post on Iran talks. So this is one of the pattern that is getting repeated several times during this 1 year and a few months of the second term of presidency of Donald Trump. And now we can be sure that there are the people, including the member of his family, that are able to make a huge amount of money, because it was questioned first in the first 100 days of his presidency. There was an increase of $3 billion on the assets of the Trump empire, Trump family, Trump organization, as they said, right? And now everybody knows that something wrong is going on with regard of this issue. So that's why the people are really worried about this. The people are reporting that everywhere, and I am pretty sure that there won't be any investigation, any serious investigation, because here CNBC is telling us volume in stock and oil futures surged minutes before Trump's market turning post, right? And in the same report, it said that CNBC contacted the U.S. Security and Exchange Commission and also the CME Group, which are the supervisors of the stock markets, and they declined to comment. Why? Because they know that the guys who are doing that are at a very high level of the power related directly, to the president or to the president family, right? So I think in this contract between Israelis and Trump family, this is the idea, and the exchange. So I am going to do whatever you want, with American economy, with American society, with American army, American nation, American future. I sacrifice anything you want on condition that you let me make money as I want, and it's the deal done, right? And they are doing so. And we can see that for the apocalyptic approach of Israelis, those who are waging this war just as introduction to the international conflict and annihilation of the human race on earth, this is something you can make money as you want, as much as you want. They don't care really anything. Israelis don't care about global economy at all, energy stability. We had the news that even at the behest of Israel, Ukraine, in this condition where there is a real energy crisis, attacked the most important oil facility of Russia. Jewish Zionists in Israel and Ukraine are creating a worldwide energy crisis. Ukraine has bombed Russia, the Primorsk oil terminal, Russia's largest Baltic export hub, handling 60% of its maritime oil export. So they want to create really this, let's say, chaos in the energy market. Why? Because they want to attribute every problem just to Iran, to the Strait of Hormuz, and to the necessity of international mobilization against Iran, bringing all the countries against it. So that's why they do everything that's possible. Right, a few hours ago, we had a very bad, I don't know, it's an accident, incident, false flag, Mossad operation, what it is, but we had an explosion in Valero, Port Arthur, in the United States, with huge consequences for the in the Gulf Coast. This was happening in the Gulf Coast, and as you can see, it's very serious, and it could be again another blow to the energy market in the United States, with much more again soaring the price of gas. So when you see this one, when you see how Israel has been doing for creating really this idea that Iran now is able to go much far with its missiles in order to attack where? In order to attack Diego Garcia Center. This guy is studying just like Israel attacked the USS Liberty and killed Americans. Israel attacked the base on San Diego Garcia and blame it on Iran. But they know what they are doing. The Israelis are doing a very dirty job in order to get what they want. And let me show you an interesting case. When you see that NATO, for example, is not really eager to participate in this war, on the one hand, and on the other hand, at the top of the NATO, you have a guy who is there to tell us that, we don't know exactly who, we cannot really confirm what Israeli says regarding the Diego Garcia, but on the other hand, we are talking about this guy, a Zionist Mark Rudd, Mark Rutte is the NATO Secretary General, an agent of Israel, a real Mossad agent at the top, of NATO Secretary as NATO Secretary General. So he's telling us, yes, because the information is not really confirming the fact that Iran sent that, but he didn't name any country as, actor of this false flag. He doesn't mention really Israel as the country that organized it, right? But at the same time, as a Zionist, he is doing his job. Look, Rutte also tried to frame the war as a necessity. This is the drop site that is reporting. As a necessity, and called on Americans to back President Trump, saying, I have seen the polling, but I really hope the American people will be with him. This guy is supposed to be neutral, or even to take into account the interest of European countries, right? With the energy crisis over there and much more worse to come. Instead of that, he is pushing for more and more support in order to continue the war by President Trump, by the United States, at the best of who? Israel. The American people will be with him because he's doing this to make the whole world safe. Can you imagine? Exactly the rhetoric of Netanyahu, in the mouth of NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte. So which means that Israel is really serious to get the job done. Now, let's back to our scheme. So they know that if there is any election in November 2026, Trump won't be able to act with total freedom as right now, for example, for the benefit of Israel, for the interests of Israel, right? So that's why this war that had started in February 28, 2026 must keep going in order to achieve all its goals during this time, between February to November 2026. Which means that if you want to know, are we going to have the escalation in this war? Is there anything that's indicating that this war is going to end or to continue? The answer is yes. Everything is showing that this war will get escalated and going, to expand in the whole Middle East. This is, as I told you, just a matter of time to go from acceleration, where it's going to start. The acceleration was supposed to start by the attack on the power plants by the United States. Now, with this announcement of Trump, it was theoretically supposed to be postponed for Friday, but we saw that Israel has already attacked 3 different power or energy facilities in Khorramshahr, in Isfahan, and now we have effectively the retaliation of the Iranians, and we are set for keep going because Kuwait now is in dark, and from that moment other Arab countries are waiting also for the Iranian retaliation. So Israel is now completely out of control, out of any control. It's impossible to imagine anything that can signify having a restriction or limitation, borderline or something for Israel. Israel has the total liberty total freedom for any action that can bring the United States to the worst case scenario of this war. Which means that according to this cycle, this distance between acceleration to the peak will be done by Israel. For the purpose of what? For the purpose of the Israeli eschatologic apocalyptic agenda, which is to set fire to the whole Middle East, to destroy and obliterate Iran, and then going to Pakistan, and then going to the Turkey and Arab countries, and then other parts of the world. So President Trump is there in order to finish the job. And in order to finish the job, he has just this scope of time between February, or let's say from now on, till November 2026. That's the idea. So what about, because Israel has always a plan B, right? In case that it cannot really achieve the goal right now, but at the same time they don't want to lose Trump in the Oval Office. They want to keep him. They want to have him for the next round, where it would be possible to do even worse than what they are doing right now. I don't think that there would be any interruption. That's my guess. There won't be any interruption. We are set, to keep going till the peak, and the peak is where Iran will be nuked, right? I think we are going toward that in a few days, in a few weeks. But in case, for any reason, just for the sake of our argument, if for any reason it cannot do that, they don't want really to face this risk. So that's why Israelis and the Israeli President of the United States, Stephen Miller, are organizing everything in the United States in such a way that there won't be any election. This is another hypothesis that I had already established, and I am still believing in that there won't be any chance for Americans to have a normal election, right? That's why from now on, with the arrival of the ICE in the airports, we can say that kind of establishment of the military government, something that can be labeled like this, military government, sending the paramilitary forces of the American branch of IDF, which is called ICE, to almost everywhere. So they started from today. They are in all the airports, right? And it looks like that there won't be much more to come. Sorry. And if you go to an airport right now, you can see the scene like this one. They are there. Leave her alone.
I hope you're so fucking proud of yourselves, you fucking assholes. You're on video now too. Yeah. Shame on you. You fucking
So these are the American soldiers of IDF under the name of ICE, arresting people, controlling everything, and identifying the people in the airport. This is just the beginning, and you will see that ICE, you remember I told you in the past that $70 billion of budget had been allocated to ICE. So they are recruiting thousands and thousands of people. They are preparing something like 10 million places for detention, jail, prisons, and so on. And of course, they are getting ready to come seriously on the streets here and there under name of, order or normal function of airports, and then maybe train station. And very soon, with the gas price soaring, I think there would be the installation of ice in any gas station as well. And then in the supermarkets here and there, everywhere. That's the idea of military coup, but under cover of airports or other issues where. And President Trump today said that I am also preparing the National Guard to send, militarization of society. So what's the objective? I told you, once we are there, once the military government, military state is established, President can use the state of emergency authorities in order to cancel the elections, which will be the case. Unless till that time the war will worsen the situation in such a way that there won't be anything that we can call the Trump presidency, because some sources are talking about that, some people are warning about that. Here you have some 300 retired U.S. generals, admirals, and national security experts that published a public warning presenting Donald Trump as a threat to American democracy. All right? Among them you have the even the former figures of his own administration, like John Kelly, for example, General Mark Milley. So all of them are telling that President Trump is doing something that doesn't go really in the direction of Constitution and must be removed from the presidency. So there are the rumors, that behind the scene, the people are trying to see what could be a solution for that. For example, in some cases, they are talking that it's necessary that J.D. Vance and his cabinet, here Newsweek is telling us, removing Trump from office would require Vice President J.D. Vance and his cabinet to turn on him. Right? So Israelis know exactly what is going on, and they are worried about losing their puppet in the White House. Right? Look, they reveal that. They speak publicly about this. Netanyahu is saying, we are the ones who forced Trump regarding the war on Iran, and the war cannot be stopped except with our approval. And of course there won't be approval to stop the war whenever. It's impossible, because what is at stake is the future of Israel, the future of Zionism. And this future is gloomy. This future is really dark. And they know that, and they don't want really to accept this reality, because they are psychopaths. The psychopaths are an extreme bad loser. They don't want really to accept that historically, ideologically, politically, militarily, they lost the game. They don't want to accept that. And that's why they want really to sink the ship with themselves. They want to set fire to the world. This is their situation. Look at that. The Israeli people are looting markets in search of food. The Israeli people are living in a deplorable economic and living situation. Netanyahu brought this war upon us, And because of him, Israelis are living in the worst condition since the establishment of the state of Israel. This is their situation. Right? So, with the attacks coming from Iran, the missiles attack, in some cases with real consequences for Israelis, I think now they start to realize that something is wrong, something is badly wrong, and they cannot get to their ideal or ideological destination, which was to dominate the world, greater Israel, global Jewish government, the things like that. So, one topic that had been completely dismissed today was a report by United Nations on the climate change. This is one of the reasons for which the Epstein class, the dominant class, knows perfectly that the Earth, the planet, had been damaged, had been depleted, had been damaged, and is on the verge of kind of destruction. The planet is big, right? And the destruction cannot go overnight. So it's an incremental destruction that only and only can be seen by those who are interested in this question and follow these kind of indications. I encourage you to find this report, which is available for everyone. You can see that for 2025 we started to have extremely bad indicators regarding the global warming. Okay, so one of them, first, we have passed just the hottest decade of the human history. So the last 10 years were the hottest one of the whole history of thousands and thousands of years. Now we are on the verge of being permanently, not ephemerally or for 1 year permanently above the famous threshold of 1.5 Celsius degree, which was the red line that had been fixed and suggested in 2015 Paris Agreement, climate agreement, right? So on that summit, the scientific told us that we must try not to go above 1.5 Celsius degree for 2050. Now we are 2006, the report is for 2025, and it's talking about getting above 1.5 Celsius degree from now on and permanently, which means that there is no chance that we come lower in a lower level. Just to give you an idea about what is going on, because it's very important, and it can give you also an idea about the doomed future of our planet with this insane, crazy, full, anti-human, anti-nature Epstein class. Look at what is happening. Normally, when the sunlight comes, to Earth, it goes out, right? And if the amount of both are in the acceptable conditions or amount for Earth, we talked about a kind of balance, right? But now we don't have any more this balance, which means incoming solar energy, incoming heat is in a given amount, and what we are sending out, the outgoing energy is not enough. Why? Because we have already sent too much greenhouse gas to the ozone layer, and right now the ozone layer cannot let this heat go out. So that's why it remains here, and we have to observe that, right? 91% of this heat is absorbed by the ocean, which means that we are getting more and more warmer and hotter oceans, and everything that is considered as the marine life is at risk, right? So just to enhance one point of this report, somewhere is telling us that with this situation right now, everything that we do, even if we start today, we must be aware that the consequences of what we have already done will be here for, attention, for centuries, maybe for more than 1,000 years. If we stop right now everything, sending every greenhouse gas emission, for example, which is absolutely unimaginable. Not only that, just to give you an idea why we are doomed, why we are completely condemned to disappear from this planet. In the same day this report had been published, we got this news. Trump administration will pay a French company $1 billion in taxpayer funds to not build wind farms, which means $1 billion just in order to compensate a company that got a contract to create this wind farm in order to use the renewable, wind energy. So we cannot do that anymore. Which means that instead of that, we use the fossil fuel energy, and we send more and more greenhouse gas emission, dioxide, carbon, and we get hotter. So what do you want more to know that this Epstein class, the Zionist, and as an entity we can talk about the Abrahamic capitalism, is there in order, to destroy everything, absolutely to burn the planet, to burn the whole thing, and they are doing so. So that's why we must be aware about one thing, that Israel, which is in total control of the United States, will do whatever is necessary to bring the United States to the escalated phases of this war, which means that in this escalating trend, the United States will be fully involved and cannot really run off. President Trump is the main actor of Israel right now to get the Zionist agenda done, and he will maintain in the office as long as Israel needs. So if the Americans think that thanks to elections, by means of the midterm elections, they can get rid of Trump or get kind of control over his presidency, they don't have any idea about the nefarious, nasty nature of the plan that Zionists set up for the United States. We must be aware about that, because they are able to do whatever is necessary, and they don't care. They don't care about the global market. They don't care about the global energy market. They don't care about the financial market, the presidency of Trump, the situation in the United States. Let me show you something interesting. We were talking about the climate change. Right now, I don't know if you can believe or not, but can you believe that we have a fire with the size of Rhode Island? The whole, imagine that the whole Rhode Island is burning. Nearly 1 million acres in Nebraska has already gone. We are talking here about the largest burns in modern US history. And can you believe that there is no one single news in the mainstream media about that? They are covering 70% of their time. I am talking about the news outlets with garbage produced by the guy of the Zionist over there in the Oval Office called Donald Trump. They are covering that, but not 1 minute talking about the largest burns, wildfire in modern U.S. history. Can you believe that 775,000 acres gone, completely gone, just for the grazing land. 1 million acre as a total. Tens of thousands of cattle impacted. Look at the image. This guy is reporting.
So a near million-acre fire has been burning through Nebraska, if you didn't know, literally the size of fucking Rhode Island, and I've been noticing zero media coverage on it. Every camera, every reporter, every headline is pointed at the Middle East. Fire is approaching 1 million acres, one of the largest in U.S. history, and I just want you to think about this when considering this fire being in Nebraska, okay? Before we get to that.
So now you understand, how the distraction by Trump administration can bring, all the attentions to Middle East, to the oil, to gas, and then to manipulations in order to get billions and billions by the Trump mafia through the inside trading and getting richer and richer without any attention to what's going on for the normal, ordinary Americans, for the middle class, for the working class, and to the nature, to the planet, what's going on for the people across the world, what is going to be, the direct impact of this Israeli war, on the global food market, with more than right now. In a few days ago it was 40 million. Now they are talking about 50-60 million people at risk of starvation very soon, and that would be a catastrophe for at least 150 million in that region that we can call the zone war, the war zone. So that's why now we must be aware that the people are talking about this guy in this way. This is George Gallery presenting this thing as Trump is a market manipulator, a price fixer, and inside trader. He is in talks with nobody. When the markets open, the war is finishing. When they close, he is slaughtering women and children as usual. He's a crook, a criminal. This is how the President of the United States is presented across the world. Why? Because everybody now is realizing that this guy is the puppet of Netanyahu, and Netanyahu is representing a bunch of people, a bunch of criminal, insane, completely psychopath people who are preparing everything to put an end to the life, in the world and in the planet. I saw that even the Iranian people, those who are in the government, started to use a different wording. Now they are not talking about the Islam, the things like that. He is saying Iran is fighting. This is the Speaker of the Iranian Parliament, Ghalibaf. He is saying Iran is fighting for humanity. That's the change of rhetoric. And the rhetoric has changed not because they are not anymore Muslim or Islamist or whatsoever, because they understand that this is not a political war. This is not even an ideological war. This is not a religious war. This is a war of civilization and the enemies of civilization. Right? He says the war is either with Gaza and against this colonial terror regime, or it stands with the Epstein class and the child torturers. There is no middle ground. Even then, the different authorities of the Iranian regime, the different figures, and this guy is supposed to be, the counterpart of this fictitious negotiation of Trump with Iranian, a very important Iranian authority, we don't know who, and he's formulating the war now not in terms of Iran-Israel, not in terms of Islam and the enemies of Islam. No, it's a matter of humanity and those who want really eradicate humanity. This is what it is. So that's why at the end of this presentation, let's once again go to our scheme here, and as you can see, there won't be anything in November 2026, at least based on what we have, on the grounds of what we have right now as facts, right? And the evolution of the things. There won't be anything as elections here. Let's just not talk about November 2028. We are far from that. I am pretty sure at that time, let me tell you, at that time, world will have changed completely, so that the relevance of anything that we can call election, American democracy, or American institutions, the things like that, will be completely called into question. There won't be any relevance for that. Even in November is just in how much? In 6 months, right? And I am telling you in 7 months. I am telling you that there won't be anything that can be seen as a normal midterm election in November 2026. I don't make any prediction regarding November 2028, because I know that till that time we won't live anymore in the same world, right? The modification and the changes would be so radical that the relevance of this question of election in November 2028 is completely put aside. Now, just let me formulate it this one, as the conclusion of our discussion. Israel is aware that Trump won't finish his second term in office. I don't see anything as possibility of Trump going to here, January 2029. This is just a joke, imagining that the world is able, to keep on with the fire that Israelis are preparing to set, to the world, to the whole world, starting with the Middle East, guessing about who will be in the office in January 2029 in 3 years would be really just a pure fantasy, right? So in response to those who say that anyway it must be something, an election, no, this is because just we don't think really on taking into account the reality that's happening around us, and we want to think according to our patterns, our beliefs, our creeds, which are now completely called into question out of what we have in front of us, Israel in action by means of the United States. And from that moment, I don't think that we are going to have any bright future unless the things turn really in such a direction that everything start to be otherwise. We will see that. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please participate in sharing this video with other people so that we can have more and more those who can hear this kind of analysis and can have a brainstorming together. Thank you very much.